Hi everyone, welcome to this special collab review that I'm doing on my channel. I have my cousin Rich with me again. Hello, cousin Rich.
Howdy, cousin Chad.
We haven't seen each other for a few months, and we haven't seen any movies together for a few months. Of course, I think the last one we saw together was X-Men Days of Future Past. But you've probably seen some movies since then, have you?
Not
a lot?
I did see Left Behind with Nicolas Cage.
Anything else?
And
So this is almost the first movie since X-Men Days of Future Past that you've seen in the theater? Almost.
Is there any big movies came out this summer?
Yeah, we had a lot, like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Did see Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay. All right, that's good.
That's good.
Well, today we're going to collab review about a film that we just witnessed in the true IMAX format in Irvine, at the Irvine Spectrum, the Edwards Irvine Spectrum, where they show it in film, but it's 70 millimeter. It's the best way I think you can see a movie like this. We saw, of course, Interstellar. It's got a limited release right now, and on Friday, November 7th, it will be released everywhere, and everybody get a chance to see it. What I will say right now, the best way to see a movie like this, before I get in my true feelings of what the movie's about, who's in it, and how I feel about it, is I think this is the true way to see a movie like this. Wouldn't you say?
Any movie that has to deal with what its namesake is, like Interstellar, like space movies, I think Gravity is definitely a 70 millimeter film. 2001 and 2010 Space Odyssey would have been great in this format.
Yeah, and if it ever got released that way, I would want to see it the way we saw Interstellar right now.
Yeah.
Well, Interstellar, do you want to try and explain what this movie's about? Or should I?
Well, I want your opinion first. Okay,
well,
you want me to
I'm going to explain what it's about first.
Okay. So basically what this movie is about is it's about the planet is dying. Like, not dying per se, but it's terraforming, basically. And so humans are probably not going to be able to live on it for too long. And so people have to go out in space and try to find us a new home. And Matthew McConaughey did a phenomenal job.
Can we get into who's in it now before you give your honest opinion?
Well, you already know. They see they've seen the trailers, right?
Yeah, well, I just want to say who's actually in the movie. I like to see who's in the movie.
Cool. Yeah.
Because there are some surprises. There's some people that are not on the trailers that are actually
surprised. You're gonna have to see that.
I don't want to spoil anything in this review, and if I do, I apologize. But of course, it stars Matthew McConaughey, Jessica Chastain, John Lithgow, Michael Caine, Anne Hathaway.
And she did great too.
Casey Affleck.
She never stops cutting her hair. I wish she
Ellen Bernstein. Ellen Bernstein's in the film, and there's some other people that I don't want to say that I didn't see in the trailer. There are some surprises about the movie. So who wants to get into their feelings about the film first?
Well, I just dried off my face from the tears I had, so you go first.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I love Christopher Nolan. I would say, yeah, if you want to say I'm a fanboy for Christopher Nolan, I am, even though I believe not every one of his films is a masterpiece. He has made some films that I thought were good, but he has had a really amazing track record, especially the last few films, including the Batman movies, Inception, and I also love The Prestige, and I love Memento and The Following, or Following, whatever it's called. Insomniac is not one of my favorite films that he's done. It's a good film, but, you know, he has an amazing track record. The guy is an amazing filmmaker, and he works with his brother, Jonathan Nolan, a lot, and he works with him in this film. They both contribute to the screenplay. And I think at one time this was going to be directed by somebody else, but I can't really remember. And then Christopher Nolan took over, and it says written by, so it's like, I don't know if it actually was based on some original idea, but it just says written. So maybe they took an original idea once and then changed it all around and made it their own. Anyways, I'm babbling.
And they're two brothers, right?
Yeah, the two brothers, yeah.
So this is like...
And they worked on Batman together, too.
Yeah, and I just gotta say that these guys... they're such a great collaboration, and it really reminds me of the Farrelly brothers, right? Like
well, different genre, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like when you get two brothers together that can like hit it off like that and do such great collaboration. Not a lot of movies have obviously families where they can do that together, you know, because, you know, so a lot of times you probably get strong opinions like, no, I think it should be this way. And just to see that, obviously, the way that this came together, I mean, it was just really beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, I will say, I will agree with you on that. This movie is beautiful, and I'm really glad we saw it on film. It was nice to see a movie on
70
film.
millimeter film.
Yeah, I mean, and the film changes. It goes from 2.35, and then all of a sudden it'll fill the whole screen for some of the more majestic scenes of the countryside or space itself, or new things that are explored in this movie.
Yeah,
I'm just really extremely conflicted right now. I am super conflicted in my feelings about this movie. I would say I kinda loved it. I kinda did. It's so out there and ambitious that I'm just like losing my mind trying to think of what I actually witnessed. Because there are times where I almost teared up. I did almost tear up a few times, but then there was other times where I was like scratching my head and like, oh my gosh, especially where it goes in the last hour of the movie, and it just gets more ambitious and it takes more risk and more chances, which I'm glad it took. But at the same time is when it gets down to where this movie actually goes in the last few minutes, I was just like, what? I mean, how is this? I mean, is this actually going on in some weird direction? I mean, are we going to explore this as more movies or a franchise, or is this where it's closing? I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I think the acting's really great in the film. Matthew McConaughey at first, he would always talk like, I talk like this a lot, with his accent, and I can't do his accent too well, but he always talked like this. And then once he got into space, I think he more explored his acting ability and proved why he won an Oscar last year. The acting's really great. The movie looks beautiful. It's Christopher Nolan's working with a different collaborator when it comes to cinematography this time, but again, the movie looks beautiful. It looks like a Christopher Nolan movie. Again, Hans Zimmer. I can't wait to buy the soundtrack to this movie. Hans Zimmer has proven once again why he's one of the best composers when it comes to movie making, movie score making. I mean, it's just glorious. But I hope maybe I want to see this movie again. I don't know if I want to go see it again right away. I don't know if I want to wait until it's on Blu-ray and then watch it at home and try and analyze it, because I don't know if I have the mind capability of completely understanding this film. I have a feeling that Christopher Nolan and his writers, they do somewhat. I think this might have been too ambitious for their own good, because they go in some territories that are just like, wait. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if I understand that. I'm really, again, I'm completely conflicted with the feelings I have about this movie, because, again, technically, it's gorgeous. It's perfection. Technically, it's perfection. But on a story level, it's really out there. At times, it's really uneven, like with the tone. It takes a weird direction in the beginning when it interviews all these old people, and I don't want to. There's weird approaches, because at one moment I'm like, oh, and then other moments I'm like, huh, what? So I'm conflicted with this movie. I think I loved it more on a technical level, but on a story level, maybe if I see this again, this is my first initial reaction, but maybe if I see it again, maybe I'll enjoy it more. If this world is explored more, if this is all we're gonna get from this story, then whatever. But if the movie's explored more, maybe it'll make more sense. I don't know, but I'm extremely conflicted. I enjoyed it on one factor, and the other factor, I'm just like, I don't know what to make of it. So that's kind of the feelings I have right now. Go, Cousin Rich!
I have to say first off that it was beautiful. I teared up a grip of times, and for me it was really about it's about what we could be if we actually left here, as far as just going. And there's a lot of movies that have been coming out in the last few years where they give you really beautiful visuals. I mean, obviously, like Avatar was awesome and stuff like that when you looked at like another planet and the what it could be like. But like with this movie, it's just like to be able to go and see the places that they did. I mean, there wasn't, some of the places weren't like mind-blowing, obviously, because I mean, I think a lot of what we think of when we look at planets, if it's going to be habitable, it's going to be familiar to us in a lot of ways, as far as like the different types of areas on the planet that we could explore. But what makes it so amazing is like the journey there, and just like what you experience as far as like what it would take for us to get out there. And I know like right now we have 2015, I think it is, or this next year is when they're going to do the launch for, or is it 2017 when I think we're having some guys flying to Mars, like astronauts doing a long-term flight finally. And I just go, I really hope that in my lifetime I get to see this movie become a reality, because what made me tear up a lot was really just the idea that I want to. I mean, I think everybody has that fantasy inside where they want to go see other planets, you know. And it's just, you know, at the end, it goes like what he says to like a whole nother level, and it is awesome. I mean, like for me, it was just, that's when I started really tearing up, because I was like, dude, if this is really what it's like, dude, but if it's so cool. If it became a reality, would you like at least Earth to still exist? Absolutely. Okay, good, because I would like Earth to still exist, please. But I think that it's a great catalyst for the movie to say that basically, hey, look, you know, we've got to either like take off and expand, or we're going to die out as a race. And I think that in reality, that's probably what would take us to be able to stop all the infighting around the world and actually have people want to be able to put our resources to a good use and try to go for planetary exploration instead of obviously what we do now. And so this movie's just beautiful. I can't say enough. I mean, there's so many spoilers that I want to leak out, but at the same time, it's more so the fact that I'd say this movie, if you don't go see it, any movie I've seen probably in the last 4 or 5 years, it's hard to say that I would have traded all of them probably for this movie. And it was just, it's heartfelt, it's beautiful, and it's just it draws you because of what the idea is to be able to just know that one day this is going to be a reality. And I love how in cinematography we're at that level now where we can make stuff visually look in a story like what it's probably absolutely going to be like when we take off and go there, you know. And I'm stoked, even though I'll probably be long dead by the time that's a reality, unless I can do cryogenics. That's scary. That's okay. I'm definitely gonna be thinking about this for a while. This is definitely my first initial thoughts of the movie. I don't know if they'll go up or down after a second viewing. Yeah. I don't know how I could see this movie again if not. If it's not in the IMAX, if it's not in the IMAX 70mm format, I don't know if there's really another way to see it. It's not a perfect film in my opinion. It does have its flaws. It's uneven at times with some of the characterizations of people, the character development. It's kind of all over there. With the journey, it's like, you know, what's going on, especially when there's things that we can't even talk about, right? I don't want to spoil for you. That kind of felt a little like, what? I mean, I know. There's a robot. I want to talk quickly about the robot, and I'm done. Yeah. There's this cool little robot that looks like blocks that moves around. That was really cool, and I like how that was kind of a use for comic relief. You want to say like personality? No, not at all. I don't want to say who I think, but that's all I want to say about the. This is my closing thoughts. I think it is a beautiful, interesting film that definitely deserves to be seen again. I just don't know if I'm going to wait until I own it on Blu-ray, or I'm going to go back here to this theater or somewhere in Hollywood where there's a true IMAX and see the movie. I think the only way to really experience this movie is IMAX. I think it is a great film, but it is extremely flawed, and for that I'm going to give it a slight 3.5 stars out of 4. All right, closing thoughts really quick, and your final rating. Closing thoughts is that it's just, I loved it. I thought it was a beautiful movie, and you know, it's the journey, the whole movie about the journey. And to me, it made me feel like a kid, because like I've always dreamed of space exploration, and so I'm absolutely saying that it's one of the most stunningly visual movies I've ever seen in my life. And there's parts of it that are just beautiful. that are going to make you tear up. And so I give it an absolute 4. So 4 fingers is what we do with
What, but you usually out of 5. So is it 4 out of 5?
Oh, excuse me, it's 5 out of 5. You're
all
right.
Just want to make sure. I know it's been a while since you did a review for me.
I loved it. Yeah.
All right, everyone, check out Interstellar. It comes out everywhere. You're going to go see it, whether the reviews are bad or not, because it's Christopher Nolan, and he just can give us the big wow factor and some heart.
And Matthew McConaughey did a wonderful job. I mean, it's amazing, you know. And I got to say one last thing is it's so. At least for, I'm sure Chad's the same way because he's only a year younger than me. But it's crazy because really the only way that I understand that I'm getting older is sadly is going to the movies and seeing these wonderful actors and actresses that were kids with me, that at least I felt like were kids with me, and they're all like, you know, they're portraying grandpas now in movies, and it's just kind of shocking to me because it's like I still feel like an 18-year-old kid, which I'm sure they do too, but it's just like that's really like how I've scored myself on, am I really getting old? Well, heck, all my favorite actors are starting to be grandfathers, so yeah.
And on that note, we're going to leave before we turn into grandfathers.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for watching this really long review. Hopefully we didn't spoil anything for you, and let me know if you've seen Interstellar. Comment box below. Let me know what you thought about the film. We know your opinion, whether you liked it or not. And thank you so much for watching. I'm MovieManCHad. This is my cousin Rich.
See you.
Please go to WeLiveFilm.com and subscribe right here on YouTube to We Live Film. Also go to Long Beach Acting and Film Association right here on Facebook and Twitter. Please also go to MoviePile.com, and if you've enjoyed this video movie review, please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. In the meantime, have a great day, a wonderful night, and a wonderful life on planet Earth for as long as we live here, hopefully forever, hopefully. And I'll see you in my next movie review. Bye, everyone. Peace be with you, my friends.
Peace be with you.